Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share. Hello everyone, fancy seeing you here. Welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly. This is Grizzly True Crime, and let's have a look at the Jake Haro sentencing that just happened. We've been following the Emmanuel Haro case, and so I would like to watch the sentencing with you. He pleaded guilty, and funny enough, his wife is doing the opposite. She's like maintaining her crappy little story. Remember that if you followed the case, there's plenty that we've covered already, so go and check those episodes out. I'll make sure to link them in the description box, but they made up quite the story. Okay, so let's just quickly recap, then we'll watch the sentencing. The sentencing is just over 30 minutes long, so I look forward to watching it with you. Now let's do this. So Emmanuel Haro, so this happened in, now let me see if I could say it like the locals again. Is it Yucaipa, California. All right, Heather, whatever, thank you for your sticker, by the way. And thank you, mods, for being here. I know we've had a long trial day today as well. Really appreciate it. Please like and share so others know we are live right now too. Okay, so Emmanuel Haro was a 7-month-old baby who was reported missing by his mother on August 14th of 2025. He was approximately 24 inches tall, weighing 21 pounds, with brown hair, brown crossed eyes, and last seen wearing a black Nike onesie. His mother, Rebecca Haro, and his father, Jake Haro, Jake is 32, have been arrested, and they were charged with malice murder. He has one biological sister, and his father, Jake, has had 3 other children with his first 2 wives. Both of those marriages were dissolved, and investigators believe that Emmanuel is deceased. So they still have not found his remains. So the tip line is still active. If you have any information, please continue to call the tip line, right? Now on August 14th of 2025 at 5:30 p.m., the Haro family, including Jake, Rebecca, and their children, met Jake's first wife and her boyfriend at a park in Yucaipa for a football event. That was a lie. That person said it was a lie, but they made the story up. Okay, arriving at approximately 6 p.m. At approximately 7 p.m., Rebecca left the park to purchase a mouthguard for her stepson, Isabel's son, at the Big Five sporting goods store. At 7:30 p.m., Rebecca noticed that this is all a story, that's why I can say it like this, baby Emmanuel's diaper needed to be changed, so she removed him from his car seat and lay him down in the back of the truck to change him. She claims that a man said, "Hola," and then he knocked her unconscious, and when she regained consciousness, Emmanuel was gone. Now she's sticking to that story. He has at least, I don't give him much credit, but he's at least pleaded guilty to 2nd-degree murder, and he's just been sentenced. So we're going to watch that. But she said that she ran into the Big Five store to ask if anyone had seen the baby or someone with a baby, but no one had seen anything. At 7:47 p.m., she called 911 and reported him missing to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Deputies then responded. They said they came along with K9 scent tracking units. They responded, searched the whole area, did not locate Emmanuel. There was no suspect, no vehicle description provided, so there was no Amber Alert. Okay, so on August 15th, Rebecca and Jake spoke to the media. That you got to watch. If you have not seen this, oh my word, you got to look at the previous episodes we did. You got to see those interviews. That was with KTLA and ABC7, pleading for Emmanuel's return. Rebecca claims that the bruise under her eye was caused by the abductor who knocked her out on August 14th. But surveillance video reportedly shows her with the black eye as early as August 3rd of 2025, 11 days before the reported kidnapping. So one unnamed female witness reported seeing Rebecca and her daughter at a park in Banning, California the night before the alleged kidnapping, and the witness described Rebecca as having a black eye at that time and acting erratic. And so there were these other witnesses, and then the grandmother. I think we're going to hear from her today. Emmanuel's grandmother, Mary Beushausen, Rebecca's mother, told KTLA that the couple loved their son and would not harm him. She noted that police requested Rebecca take a lie detector test, but Jake refused until they had legal representation. She also reported that Rebecca received death threats and their 2-year-old child was removed from their custody. Now, that's how far I'm going with just a quick recap of who these people are, because look, we've done a whole thing and who Jake had been married to before. Here's her being arrested. That's him being arrested. And holy crap, look at this little girl that in the past he had abused to this degree before. So I think because he's pleaded guilty before in previous cases of abusing children, I don't know if he thought like, oh, this is the way to go now, he'll get a lesser sentence, right? So please go and watch this previous episode. It's linked in the description box for you. Now, I just wanted to give you a very quick overview there. Let me also tell you that Jake Mitchell Haro, here he is. Let me show you. This guy, oh my word, and he's being all like, well, I don't see tears, but he's pretending to cry a lot at the sentencing. Jake Mitchell Haro, 32 years old, of Cabazon, California. He was charged with second-degree murder of his 7-month-old son, Emmanuel Haro, in Riverside County. Of course, the case began in July 2023 when Haro and his wife, well, that was in August, reported Emmanuel missing and claimed he'd been kidnapped from a stroller. And so Rebecca's facing charges too, and she's next going to be in court in January of 2026. And I don't know how she thinks she can, like, what will her defense be? Because he's admitted that Emmanuel is deceased and that he's pleading guilty to second-degree murder. So how is she still sticking to the story of, no, somebody said hola, and then he was kidnapped? It just doesn't make any sense, right? And Emmanuel's body has not been found. So this guy taking a plea deal or pleading, apparently he's pleading on his own. Him pleading guilty means he doesn't have to ever say where Emmanuel's body is. That's a problem. Like, what if they never find his body, right? Yeah, so because he pleaded guilty, he's already been sentenced on November 3rd of 2025. Let's watch that sentencing now together. Anybody want to eye roll this guy? I do. Southern Cali B says, gee, ma'am, we are being worked overtime. Kidding, I secretly was hoping you would go live so we could watch together. And that's what we're doing now. Thank you.
Please remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session.
And before we go forward with the sentencing in the Jake Haro matter, again announcing to the public there are no use of cell phones, no recording except for the pool camera. There will be no comments about the case while the court is in session, no outbursts, and please follow the instructions given by our RSO deputies. With that, calling...
Sorry, let me just quickly say, like, dude, you're pleading guilty to killing your 7-month-old son. You think we're going to feel sorry for you sitting there like this? I don't think so. Do you see any tears? I don't see one.
The matters of Jake Haro. Appearances, please.
Thank you. Paulette Garthwaite, Mr. Haro. He is sitting here next to me at council table. And thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Allison Lowe, also on behalf of Jake Haro.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. William Robinson for the people.
Good afternoon. Brandon Smith for the people.
Thank you. And good afternoon, Mr. Haro. And this is the time and place set for sentencing. Are both sides ready to go forward at this time?
Yes.
And the court has read and considered the sentencing memorandums provided by Ms. Garthwaite and Ms. Lowe, as well as Mr. Smith and Mr. Robinson, as well as the probation report. At this time, does either side want to be heard further? Mr. Smith, Mr. Robinson, any victim impact statements for the court to consider?
There will be no victim impact statements. No.
Okay. And Ms. Garthwaite, Ms. Lowe?
Don't worry, they will be, because I think it's Rebecca's mother that changes her mind. There will be victim impact statements, so buckle up for that.
Your Honor, I just wanted to very briefly reiterate the defense objection to imposing court fees and fines. Mr. Haro is indigent. He's a public defender client. I believe that the court is going to sentence him to a lengthy sentence. And prior to his arrest, he was unable to work and was receiving disability. So we would object to the court imposing any court fees and fines. If the court is going to assess a restitution fine, it is based, or the defense requests that based on the indigency, that the court set it no higher than $300, which is the minimum.
Okay. And Mr. Smith, Mr. Robinson, do you want to be heard in regards to that?
Yes, I'd say that while I intend to submit in large part on the sentencing memorandum I filed with the court, I do want to reiterate that while I understand the court has some discretion in this matter regarding the sentence and the fines and fees, I want to emphasize the fact that this defendant deserves no leniency in any regards, as to sentence or as to fines and fees. The court is well aware of how this case began with the defendants standing in front of law enforcement and the public and creating this public panic about a child being kidnapped, and the resources that were expended in order to investigate those lies of the defendant need to be addressed in this sentence as well. So I would ask that the court recognize that in deciding how much to assess the defendant in fines and fees, as well as in exercising its discretion regarding the appropriate sentence in this case.
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah, give him fines to the max. He deserves nothing. I mean, the fact that he's already abused his daughter in the past from another lady. I mean, to the point where she needs full-time support for the rest of her life. She was born completely healthy. What? And now he's admitted to murdering his 7-month-old son. Yeah, fine him to the max. I'll whop this guy, right? He pleaded guilty, by the way, to second-degree murder on October 16th of 2025. And today is, well, the time's different for me. I'm already in the future. I'm on November 4th. But he was sentenced on November 3rd of 2025. Okay, so we're going to see that. And again, I want to see what the hell Rebecca Haro is going to do. What you going to say after all this?
Mr. Smith, anything further before the court begins its sentence?
No, Your Honor.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so I'm sorry, we've had, I guess, a change of opinion. So the Emmanuel Haro's grandmother has now asked to address the court about the sentence.
Okay. And are you ready at this time?
Ma'am.
Okay. Hello, ma'am. And Mr. Smith, if we can have an introduction, please.
Yes, so this is Emmanuel Haro's maternal grandmother. And her first name is Mary, M-A-R-Y.
What's that?
And I'll have her spell her last name.
B-U-S-H-A-U-S-E-N.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am, and thank you for being here today. And ma'am, I want to make sure that I hear everything that you have to say, that our court reporter can take down everything that you have to say, and that we have an accurate record. We've cleared our entire afternoon, so you don't feel the need to be rushed. So whenever you're ready, if you could speak loudly and clearly and slowly for us. But whenever you're ready.
I want Jake to look at me. I want him to face me.
And ma'am, if you can address the court.
I would like for him to face me, to look at me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. He doesn't want to. Oh, crap. There he does. Look, look. He can't. He glances.
And ma'am, if you could speak up as loud as you can, please.
I wanted Jake to face me, to look at me, because I told him that I would be here for his sentencing before he was arrested. I talked to him about, as a friend, to tell me everything, because he didn't give me the opportunity to meet my grandson. He destroyed my whole family. He branded his children for life. He damaged her children, all his children for life. And in doing that, he destroyed my family, my children, everybody in my family. All my children are destroyed by this. He changed my daughter to where we don't know who she is. He never gave me a chance to see my grandchildren. He kept my daughter away. I don't know what he did or how he changed my daughter's life. But she was never that same person after she went to live with him. The only reason Rebecca came back, because in March I had a stroke. And my son got hold of her and told her I was in ICU. That's how I met Mackenzie, my 2-year-old granddaughter. I didn't even know she existed. Because I was not aware that she was pregnant with Mackenzie. I was not aware that she was pregnant with Emmanuel. I never met Emmanuel. You know, he deprived everybody. And it has hurt my children because the media has torn all of my children apart, okay? Because they say, Grandma knows, Grandma isn't on it, Grandma doesn't know nothing. If I had known what was going on, I would have take my daughter out of there forcefully, or I would have called the police. My sons would have come and got her, okay? Never did we ever knew anything. If I had known when I called social service when Rebecca moved in, I called social service to let them know that I didn't like him. That because my granddaughter Irene was afraid. She didn't want to be there. She called me and she says, Grandma, I don't want to be there. Okay, so I called social service. I asked social service to give me a report of what had happened, they found out. Oh no, she's fine, the house is beautiful, they have food in the fridge, that's it. Had social service come and told me what he had done to promise his other children. Nothing of this would be here. We wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be here. My grandchildren, Emmanuel wouldn't be gone, Mackenzie wouldn't have been born, because he had already done a lot of horrible things to his other children.
Yes, he did.
He branded those children for life. And in the same way, branded all my children too. Because I can't go nowhere without they asking me. Every time I go to the store or somebody recognizes me, they attack me, you know? On social media, everywhere. And that is not my doing. Or my children. This has been horrible for us. I was glad the day that got arrested because I fear for my daughter's life, I fear for everybody. And, you know, he had a second chance. My daughter didn't have a chance with him. Or his children. His children didn't have a second chance. And I think the judge that let him go should be here sitting with him. And so is social service. Because they could have told me, oh no, protocol doesn't allow us to tell you anything. Well, how are we supposed to protect our children if we don't know? The court knows what's going on. I didn't know. I called social service. I didn't know what he had done to his other children. And here he sits, like nothing. Somebody will give him another chance. And I don't want that. Because he didn't give his children a chance. He didn't give my daughter a chance to be happy to take care of her children, okay? My 20-year-old granddaughter, my 18-year-old granddaughter are a mess because of him. Mackenzie, it's totally changed, a little baby, a 3-year-old girl that has nothing, okay? I'm very, very stressed out, very angry at the justice system for letting this guy, giving him a chance. Who gave my grandchildren a chance, a second chance? Did CPS check? Why didn't they tell me? Oh look, this is what that guy does. He takes it out on the children, on the baby, because he can't do it to a grown person. He's not man enough to do it to a man, okay? He destroys so many lives. His mom, his brother, everybody, okay? Nobody wants to be here. Nobody wanted to come and look at it. But I had to speak for my grandson and my grandchildren, and for my children too, because they're going through every hell in this world, okay?
Thank you, Mom.
I didn't mourn my grandson that he passed away. We buried him on the 5th of August, and they were saying that, oh, we probably bury Emmanuel in my grandson's, when we bury my grandson, okay? I lost my grandson on the 5th. We buried my grandson on the 5th of August. Then he calls me on the 14th of August and says that Emmanuel is kidnapped. And then my sister passes on the 17th of August. We didn't have a chance to mourn any of my sister, my grandson, my other grandson, none. Because everybody was angry at everybody because how could this happen? Why? I wish you could look at me and tell me why. He was never in my house. He knew I didn't like him. He knew I called social service, and that's why he kept my daughter away. He changed her so she couldn't have no contact with me or his brothers, okay? Had I had not had a stroke, I would have never met Mackenzie or, probably heard it on the news about Imani, okay? So don't blame my children. The media has blamed my children, everybody. The TikTokers, everybody. Grandma Mary knows. I don't know nothing, okay? And I stand here with you, asking you to give him the maximum. Because I don't want him to give him another chance. He didn't give nobody a chance. He had many chances. He had a chance. The judge gave him a second chance. The probation gave him another chance. The CPS, oh well, no, he's fine. He's got food in the fridge and the house is clean. That doesn't cut it, okay? And that's not fair to the children to let somebody out like that. And I'm sorry, Your Honor, I'm just very, very upset and very stressed out.
And ma'am, no need to apologize. This Proceeding here is for you to make your impact statement to talk about how the crime has affected you and your family. I do want to lead with, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for all the hurt that you and your family have gone through.
A lot of hurt.
And I want to thank you for being here today.
I'm here because I'm the only one that wanted to be here because my children don't trust themselves to come in and talk because they're so upset, so angry at the system, what they did. How could they give him a second chance when you see the pictures of the little girl? How? That's beyond me. You know, you get two drunk driving tickets and you go to jail or you pay a goddamn fine. And he, a slap on the hand, go and do community work. Okay? How does that happen, Your Honor? I want to know how did that happen.
Anything else, ma'am?
No. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, Mr. Robinson, any other impact statements on behalf of the people?
No, thank you.
Ms. Garthwaite, Ms. Lowe, no impact statements on behalf of the defense.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
And submitting on your motion.
No statements from the defense. Yeah, so this guy sitting here, for people just joining now, that's Jake Haro. He's 32 years old, a known child abuser. He abused his infant daughter from a previous relationship to the point where I think they said she's blind and she will forever need full support. Like, he completely ruined her and she was born healthy. So if you want the details of that, we've done that before. I'm going to link all the previous episodes we've done. There's already a deep dive link now in the description box, but I'll put them all there and in the pinned comments so you can catch up there. But yeah, now he's he pleaded guilty to murdering 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro. So yeah, he's like a serial child abuser and now a child killer. And he pleaded guilty to 2nd-degree murder. Now his wife, Rebecca, the mother of Emmanuel, she's also been arrested and she was also charged. I'll go over her charges in a moment. She was charged with 1st-degree murder and filing a false police report. He then pleaded guilty to the lesser charge of 2nd-degree murder, right? But she's continuing on with the crap they told the media about this fake abduction. And she's next in court in January. That was her mother doing the victim impact statement. He has decided, okay, he's going to plead guilty, and which I guess from a defense standpoint would be the best move for him to try to see if he could get less time. Let's see what the judge sentences him to now. But he is like absolutely vile.
Yes.
Submitting on your motion.
Yes.
So the court is now going to pronounce judgment at this time. Ms. Lowe, Ms. Garthwaite, Mr. Robinson, Mr. Smith, are you okay if I sentence on all three together, all three cases?
Yes.
Yes.
This time, this court, having taken the defendant's plea, having read and considered the probation report, and having seen, heard, and considered the evidence and arguments of counsel at the sentencing hearing, as well as taking judicial notice of its own records, hereby pronounces the sentence as described in this order. The court imposes an aggregate sentence of 180 days and 6 years, 8 months, plus 25 years to life and fines as specified. As I will explain shortly, the sentence of 180 days and 6 years and 8 months will be determinate. The 25 years to life is indeterminate and will be described at this time. Probation is denied. Because Mr. Haro was on probation for a felony offense at the time he committed the serious and violent offenses of murder and assault on a child underage causing death, he is ineligible for probation pursuant to Penal Code Section 1203. Accordingly, probation is denied. In regards to the terms of imprisonment, this case involves the imposition of determinate terms and indeterminate terms. The court will first address the indeterminate terms. I did.
Sorry to pause there. I just want to say, look at him. Do you see any tears? I don't see one tear. He's 32 years old. So, and he's just wiping his eyes and he's got tissues going. I don't think it's working at all. You know, I don't ordinarily armchair diagnose, but I think this guy's a psychopath, you know what I mean? Like, this guy to hurt children, a little girl, and then kill your son who was 7 months old. Like, what the hell is wrong with him? Yeah, put him away for life, right? Keith Peterson said, you are sentenced to the wood chipper. So yeah, let's hear it.
Read the briefing submitted by Ms. Lowe and Ms. Garthwaite, as well as by Mr. Smith and Mr. Robinson. For count 1, in case FERI 2504-808-1, murder in the second degree, the court imposes the only term provided by law of 15 years to life. The court notes that the amended complaint filed by the people lists the punishment for count 1 as 25 to life, which would suggest that the charge is first-degree murder, but we did have a discussion at the last hearing regarding those sentence or that charge, and that is in the second degree. So I want to make sure that that's clear, Mr. Smith and Ms. Lowe.
Yes, Your Honor.
Accordingly, the court orders the designation of the 25 to life stricken from the amended complaint. For count 3, in case FERI 2504-808-1, assault on a child under 8 causing death, the court imposes the only term provided by law of 25 years to life. The court finds that counts 1 and 3, in case ending in 808-1, are based on the same act. An act or omission that is punishable in different ways by different provisions of law may be punished under either of such provisions, but in no case shall the act or omission be punished under more than one provision. Accordingly, the court stays the punishment for count 1, the murder charge, pursuant to section 654. The court declines to state a punishment for count 3 instead of count 1, pursuant to section 654. Mr. Haro, through his attorneys, urges the court to state the higher punishment because he acknowledged wrongdoing and pled guilty at an early stage of the criminal process, which is a mitigating factor under the rules of court. And the court does not find this to be a compelling reason to select the 15-year to life term in lieu of the 25-year to life term. While Mr. Haro did plead guilty at an early stage in the proceedings, this does not outweigh the significant and considerable aggravating factors that he has admitted to. It cannot be ignored that Mr. Haro was on probation for severely abusing one child when he decided to assault and kill another child. Further, the court notes that Mr. Haro was out on bail in 2 cases, including one for abusing his daughter when he killed baby Emmanuel. And the fact that Mr. Haro pled guilty at an early stage, while not insignificant, cannot overcome the horrific nature of the circumstances here. Given the admissions Mr. Haro himself has made with respect to the aggravating factors, accordingly, I will impose the indeterminate term of 25 years to life. Mr. Haro has also been convicted of 3 felony charges with determinate sentences. The court selects the child abuse charge, 273A from case BAF 2101265-2 to be the principal offense. The court orders executed the previously imposed term of 6 years, which is the upper term. As will be explained, the court orders the determinate punishments to run consecutively to the punishment imposed in felony case ending in 808-1. In case BAF 2400717, Mr. Haro has pled guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm pursuant to Penal Code Section 29800 and ammunition under Penal Code Section 30305. These offenses are based on his possession of a loaded firearm, which is a single act. Accordingly, the court stays punishment for count 2 the position of ammunition charge pursuant to section 654. For the firearm possession charge in count 1, I will impose a subordinate term of 8 months, which is 1/3 of the midterm, to run consecutively to the principal term. When determining whether to impose consecutive or concurrent sentences, the rules of court provide several factors for the court to consider. The factors related to the crime include whether or not, 1, the crimes and their objectives were predominantly independent of each other. 2, the crimes involved separate acts or threats of violence. Or 3, the crimes were committed at different times or separate places, rather than being committed so closely in time and place as to indicate a single period of terrible behavior. The court may also consider any aggravating or mitigating circumstances in deciding whether to impose concurrent or consecutive sentences, except that the court may not impose a consecutive sentence based on 1, a fact used to impose the upper term, or 2, a fact used to otherwise enhance the defendant's sentence, and 3, a fact that is an element of the crime. The consecutive punishments are appropriate here because the crimes and their objectives were independent of each other, involved separate acts, and were committed at different times, indeed over the course of many years. Accordingly, the court imposes all felony punishments to run consecutively to each other. Mr. Haro has also pled guilty to a misdemeanor offense of filing a false police report in count 2 in felony case ending 808. For this misdemeanor offense, the court imposes a term of 180 days to be served in any penal institution. Having imposed the terms as explained, the court hereby imposes an aggregate term of 180 days and 6 years 8 months, plus 25 years to life in state prison. I do want to touch on my discretion in case there was any question. Looking back on this in the future, were the voters or the legislature to amend any statutes, or were there to be any decisional law in the future that would grant this court any additional discretion in sentencing and which might benefit Mr. Haro, this court would decline to exercise any such additional discretion to lower or mitigate Mr. Haro's sentence. The court has weighed and balanced all the aggravating and mitigating factors in this case and considered all circumstances such that the court believes the current sentence is just and appropriate. Mr. Haro's conduct and culpability in the offense against his own children lead the court to conclude that Mr. Haro's sentence today is fully justified without future downward modification, even should the legislature provide such discretion. In regards to the fines, the court will impose a restitution fine of $10,000. The court finds the maximum fine is appropriate given the number of felonies the defendant was convicted of and the number of years he is being ordered to serve. The court imposes the parole revocation restitution fine in the amount of $10,000 as well. This fine is stayed unless and until parole is revoked. I will impose the court security fees as well as the penalties. The court additionally imposes the state penalty of $10 for every $10 or part of $10 upon every fine imposed. The state penalty assessment of 20% of the base fine, the court operations assessment of $40 for each conviction, and the court facilities assessment of $30 for each conviction. Ms. Lowe, I will take note of your request under Duenas, and at this time those fines and fees will be imposed, but stay the execution pursuant to Duenas. In regards to restitution, the court orders victim restitution to be paid in any amount that may be determined in the future. Mr. Haro is also ordered to pay interest at a rate of 10% per annum, accruing as of October 12th of 2018 in case BAF ending 265, as of July 27th, 2024 in BAF ending in 717, and as of August 14th, 2025 in felony case ending in 808-1. Mr. Haro is hereby advised The restitution orders shall be enforceable as if they were civil judgments. Mr. Haro, I'm going to advise you of the following at this time. You are advised of your right to appeal. The notice of appeal must be filed within 60 days after the rendition of the judgment or the making of the order being appealed. You are also advised that if you are indigent, you are entitled to appointment of counsel upon request. Sir, I'm also advising you of your requirement to provide buccal swab samples, right thumbprints, and a whole palm print impression of each hand in any blood specimens or other biological samples. Sir, also advising you that as a result of these convictions, you are prohibited from owning, purchasing, receiving, possessing, or having under your custody or control any firearms, ammunition, or body armor. You are also ordered to relinquish any firearms. Sir, I'm advising you, and I went over this at your plea, that if you are not a citizen of the United States, these convictions will have the consequence of deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, and denial of naturalization pursuant to federal law. You're also advised that at the expiration of the term of imprisonment here imposed, you may be released on parole unless the Board of Prison Terms waives parole for good cause. If parole is granted, the period of parole shall be for 3 years. Now, sir, going over your credits, and Ms. Lowe, Ms. Garthwaite, Mr. Smith, Mr. Robinson, I believe we went over these this morning, but just want to make sure that I have the correct credits. Sir, in BAF, case ending in 017, you have credits of 72 plus 72 for a total of 144 days. Mr. Smith, Ms. Lowe, Ms. Garthwaite, do you agree?
Yes.
Yes.
In case ending in 265, your banning case, you have credits for 167 days actual plus 166 days 4019 for a total of 333.
Yes.
Yes.
And lastly, sir, in the case, your newest case, ending in 808, your Riverside case, you have credits of 74 days actual plus 0 days good time credit for a total of 74 days.
Yes.
So to reiterate the final disposition, Mr. Haro, you are hereby sentenced to serve 180 days and 6 years, 8 months to terminate. You are ordered to serve 25 years to life in the state prison for the child abuse perpetrated against CH for unlawfully possessing a firearm and ammunition after having been convicted of such a heinous crime, and for the senseless assault and murder of baby Emmanuel. While no sentence can possibly vindicate the loss of innocence and life at the hands of Mr. Haro, the man who was supposed to protect these precious and defenseless children against evil and harm, the sentence here is the most the court can do to ensure that as much justice is done as possible. To that end, the court imposes the aforementioned terms of imprisonment, fines, and penalties and assessments, and I will be filing a written order of today's sentence. Anything else at this time before I sentence him or transport it forthwith? Ms. Lowe or Ms. Garthwaite?
No, thank you for that. I have a point of clarification.
Stay here. We're going to recap what the district attorney said afterwards and snark a bit.
Your Honor.
Okay.
I just wanted to inquire, it's my understanding that the court did impose the $10,000 restitution fine that stayed that person with me, yes?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, Mr. Robinson?
Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. And at this time, Mr. Haro, I am going to order that you are transported forthwith by the Department of Corrections for housing in the state prison.
They were like, "Get him."
Ms. Lowe, Ms. Garthwaite, before you leave, there was an issue that we had kicked over to today's date in regards to the violation of probation and the subpoenaed documents. Mr. Robinson, Mr. Smith, Ms. Lowe, Ms. Garthwaite, how would you like to proceed with those documents?
It's my request that that be put over to the January 21st FSC date. I did tell defense counsel for Mr. Haro that I would notify them. I'd like to address who has standing to object to those on that particular day.
Anytime that third-party documents are subpoenaed to the court, there's a procedure where the court has to determine if there's good cause and conduct an in-camera hearing, and that's with or without an objection. But I already did object to the release and asked that the court follow that process of the last court proceeding. If the court would like me here in January to make that same record, I'm happy to do so.
So you made the record. It was my understanding that there might be a request that those documents were not needed. So we'll continue the matter to January 21st. I'll note your objection. In between now and then, I'll review the documents for materiality. Mr. Smith, if you can let me know if you plan to continue to use those documents. If you're not going to use the documents, then I will not review them and we'll keep them downstairs. But if they are going to be released, I will review them for materiality.
Based on my limited understanding of what's in those documents, I do believe it's possible. I would like to use them, so I asked the court to review them.
Okay, so I'll review them by the next court date, and then Ms. Lowe and Mr. Smith will have further conversations, and we'll figure out, Ms. Lowe, if it's necessary for you to appear on that January 21st date, as well as you, Ms. Garfield. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Haro has some paperwork to take back with him. And so we want to make sure, I don't think that we ever made an order that he could have paperwork transported back and forth.
I'll make an order that he be allowed to transport his legal paperwork to and from court.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, court's in recess now. Can I have the step outside, please?
Camera.
Off he goes. Hey. We wanted to see that, okay? Listen, Court TV. We wanted to see him get handcuffed, okay? And taken out, but off he goes. Okay, so let's just quickly recap what the district attorney said here, and then we shall call it a day for now. I'll keep you posted on any other developments, especially with the mother, which I'm not understanding her take on things. Like, that's weird. But Jake Haro sentenced to 25 to life for the murder of his son. So this was published November 3rd of 2025, right after sentencing. Today, November 3rd, a judge sentenced the father of 7-month-old Emmanuel Haro after he pled guilty to the court last month. Jake Mitchell Haro of Cabazon was sentenced to 25 to life by Judge Gary Polk at the Riverside Hall of Justice. He was charged with 1 count each of murder, assault on a child under 8, causing death, and filing a false police report. In case file, this number, the court found child abuse resulting in death to be the principal offense and imposed an indeterminate term of 25 years to life in state prison. Haro was also sentenced to 180 days for filing a false police report. In his prior child abuse case, the court imposed an additional 6-year term and another 8 months for being a felon in possession of a firearm. All sentences were ordered to run consecutively. Haro was further ordered to pay $10,000 in restitution and was credited with 551 days for time served. The lies told in this case only deepened the tragedy of Emmanuel's death, Riverside County District Attorney Mike Hestron said. While today's sentence represents a measure of accountability for Jake Haro, our office will continue to seek justice as the case against his co-defendant, the wife, moves forward. She's pleaded not guilty to all charges. She's facing first-degree murder charges and false reporting to police. Now, Jake Haro changed his plea from not guilty to guilty in a felony settlement conference, which was on October 16th of 2025. His guilty pleas were to the court and not a plea agreement with the district attorney's office. His wife, Rebecca Renee Haro, maintains her not guilty plea. Her next hearing is a felony settlement conference scheduled for January of 21st. So we got to write that down and keep our eye on that. Remind me as well, okay? Email me, grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Wow. So the defendants were arrested on August 22nd when investigators with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department determined the couple fabricated claims that their infant was abducted amid a surprise attack in the Yucaipa parking lot. prosecutors believe that evidence shows that Emmanuel died due to multiple acts of abuse and the repeated assaults led to the boy's death. As of this news release, Emmanuel's remains have not been recovered. The case was prosecuted by Assistant District Attorney Brandon Smith, who continues to prosecute Rebecca Haro in her case. Because there are still active criminal proceedings involving Rebecca Haro, the District Attorney's Office will be making no additional comments regarding the case or Jake Haro's sentencing. Now, the thing is, if you got 25 to life and then 25 to life, and then also the overall sentence is 25 to life, and he was sentenced to 180 days for filing a false police report, and then also 6 years and another 8-month term, right? And they said consecutive. Okay, well, if we do the math, plus 6 would be, so he would be approximately, if I do my math correctly, 62 years old when he's eligible for parole. And I think that's why he's like shaking his head and pretending to cry, because he's doing something smart for himself, which he's done before, right? So he has a chance of getting out. That's what's scary. Rebecca, at this point, if she's convicted on those first-degree murder charges, on the first-degree murder charge, she'll get LWOPed, right? Life without parole. But this, what he just did, oh, it's actually pretty terrible, because now he doesn't have to say where Emmanuel's body is. He doesn't have to tell them anything. So maybe this is his way of saving his own ass in a weird way, meaning, okay, I'll plead guilty to this. Look at me. I'm the good guy. I'm going to plead guilty. Yep. Even though it's terrible. But that means that whatever he did to Emmanuel and wherever Emmanuel's body is much worse. It's much worse than what he's pleaded guilty to. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it, right? So yeah, unfortunately, he does have a chance of getting out one day, which really sucks, right? Heather said, I guess Jake's original charge was first degree. Yeah, it was. It was originally first degree murder. So, okay, that's quite upsetting, because he had told some inmates in the jail where he'd put the remains and all of that. And at some point, we saw him out with the police, trying to show them where Emmanuel's body would be, but they never found anything. So the speculation is that, online, that I see, is that maybe it's like Quentin Simon's case. Remember Leilani Simon that was on trial? Maybe Emmanuel's body was put in a dumpster long before his parents decided to do the stunt of this abduction. And if so, oh man, that could be weeks or months, of trash to search through, and they might never find his remains, which is really, really sad. I mean, I always hope they do. Yeah, maybe in a landfill, as Britt Black says. Yeah, landfill, in my opinion. That's kind of the social media consensus right now. Maybe in a landfill, which just really sucks. Okay, I promised the mods I wouldn't be too long, so I'm going to call it a day now, because we did a full trial day today as well. We're busy watching the Matthew Paul trial. Come and join us tomorrow, because it's first going to start off, I would guess, quite boring. Then it's going to get interesting, because the defendant might get on the stand and we might go to closing arguments, and then we'll be on verdict watch, I think. Maybe we'll see. So join us tomorrow. You're going to teleport there now to that, by the way. So if your autoplay is on, that's where you're going, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much, mods. I owe you extra coffees. Thank you to everyone who also helps me buy the mods coffees. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Grizzly Cat for the beautiful picture as well of Emmanuel. Shame, this poor child, and the other one that was abused. Oh my word. And Grizzly Cat, thank you for the documents as well in this case, so that I could, study up. All right, everyone, I will see you later today for me. For you, most of you tomorrow, for trial day 7. I want to say justice for Emmanuel Haro. In one way, yes, but also, oh man, I hope his mother does know something, and that she will be offered a plea deal to give up some information to find his remains, right? Okay, bye everyone.